you're listening to the Mackay T Show podcast. Here are your hosts, Ryan Mackay and T Davis.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mackay T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mackay T Show.
Welcome back to the Mackay T Show podcast. T, we have Elite Eights on both sides, men and women, ready to rock and roll this Monday.
I feel like these used to go faster. I feel like by now we would have a couple of people in the Final Four.
The schedule, yes, the schedule is definitely it's definitely slowed down from it's pushed back from years past. Because right now we be getting ready. That first week of April, the first couple of days of April is always like the championship game day. It seems in years past.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, we ain't at the Final Four part yet.
Right.
Not necessarily all of them, but it seemed like most of the bracket be full, and you just finish off today and then go and get ready for next weekend. But anyway, they do whatever.
Well, let's start it off with the women's side. First, the Elite Eight matchups we have set up for tonight will be UConn and Baylor and Arizona and Indiana. UConn had the marquee matchup on Saturday as they played Iowa in what turned out to be, a 20-point loss for Iowa. CC, as she's affectionately known by this podcast, Caitlin Clark.
CC tried.
Problem was she tried way too hard starting off the game. She forcing shots, but that's honestly, if you watch their games over the course of the year, that's how she plays.
I'm about to say, I think they look forced because the defense is on her better. But she takes shots like that. Yeah.
UConn had athletes that were able to kind of stick with her, and when I say athletes, I mean multiple, because they were throwing multiple looks at her. They didn't just have one person per se after her. I mean, Christine Williams spent
the main one was the one that had her career high game. She was, when she didn't have it, she would face guard her and try to make it hard for her to get it back.
Yeah, Christine Williams for UConn had 27. So, yes, so that was that matchup. We had Baylor and Michigan that went into overtime. That was a shocker for me, honestly, because I thought Baylor would handle Michigan pretty well.
Baylor didn't look good to me, but maybe I just wasn't impressed at all. But go ahead.
Well, Michigan did a lot to make it in that manner. So their defense and Leah Brown from Michigan, someone who had not really been a factor for them. She just been a role player all year long. She hit shot after shot and just kept them in the game, just held on. But Baylor was able to prevail. UConn and Baylor will play each other tonight.
UConn, I don't even like UConn, but I might like Baylor even less. If that is probably because of some stuff that I don't agree with their coach and some stuff she was saying.
This is not me playing devil's advocate, but I'm gonna go with Baylor only because of Coach Satia Messer, good friend of mine, assistant coach at Baylor, and I don't really like Gino. So
I could care. I don't like Gino at all, but
I know I understand.
I think he hasn't. And you know how I can hold on some stuff. The stuff that she was trying to be dismissive about with Baylor and all that sexual assault that was going on. One, as a woman, I found it to be offensive, but whatever.
If you were to go back on our podcast, you will know what T's talking about. We spoke about this on a previous episode about Kim Mulkey's response to all the sexual assaults that went on Baylor's campus.
Yeah, I was like, so I haven't been able to get over that. Yeah, I don't care for Gino at all either. So, but I do like Paige enough that it will push me over to that. And I don't know her as a person, but I like her game. So
I hope it's a good game. That's honestly my overall hope for it. I hope it's just a really good game, and Whoever
Brian,
wins.
don't hold your hopes up. It's gonna be maybe a half of goodness, and Baylor may play better. Maybe Baylor
That
played
no,
down to
I'm telling you,
Michigan's
Baylor is much better than what you
Michigan because
saw Saturday.
they look mediocre at best from what I saw. I
But
was
what's
like,
scary about what you saw Saturday is that's a game plan that Connecticut can, you know,
right?
Connecticut can look at and say, okay, well, that's how Michigan played them. So, in the other matchup tonight, Indiana upset number 1 seed NC State. I mean, and I've seen Indiana play multiple times this season. It was the best game I've seen them play, and they're playing their best ball right now, which is good for them, and it's what you're supposed to hope for this time of year. So, yeah, they upset the number 1 seed, NC State. They will take on Arizona, who is my pick to go all the way. We're still rocking and rolling. Bear down. Everybody in this matchup, Arizona's coach, Adia Barnes, who actually played at Arizona back when she was in college, she was the last team from Arizona, the last and the only other team in Arizona's history to make it to the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
So they've made it even further than that team. And when she took this job 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was, people were telling her it was a mistake. Don't do it. You won't win there. And she's got her team fixing to have a chance to take it to the Final Four if they win
They're
tonight.
rolling.
And on the other side of this coin, Indiana, Terry Morin, I mean, they literally told her when she took the job that you're not going to win in Indiana. They're a men's basketball school. They don't care about women's basketball there. They sell out. When they used to have fans, they used to sell out, game after game. She's got a really good team. They've been good for a couple of years now. Young, and I mean they also have a chance. But as always, I'm staying with my pick. I'm not faltering until they lose and I get to pick somebody else. Bear
That's
down.
hilarious.
Bear down, Arizona. Bear down. Yes. So Tuesday night slate for the women. We have South Carolina, who got a challenge from Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech never really got any kind of control of the game yesterday. But Nell Fortner's group definitely gave South Carolina a good. I mean, they shut Aaliyah Boston down in the first half, which was good to see. Obviously you want to see that when that's their best option. You take away their best option. Well, one thing South Carolina did that I haven't seen them do all year long, their guards hit outside shots. So if that continues, they could be scary. They played Texas, who last night upset Maryland, and I'm on record as telling someone else, one of my friends, they asked me what I thought about that game. I said if Texas is able to keep this game close, because Maryland has been on a tear, Texas is able to keep this game any kind of close, Vic Schaefer should have all the coach of the awards named after him. And lo and behold, Slick Vic winds up getting past making another year
That's
one.
the dude that was at Mississippi State.
Yes, at year
Okay,
one
go
at
ahead.
Texas, he has got his team in the Elite Eight. Yeah. So that should be an interesting matchup. We got Aaliyah Boston versus Charlie Collier. Charlie Collier is the senior center for Texas, who is projected to be the number 1 overall pick in this year's WNBA draft. So that'll be an interesting matchup. In the late game on Tuesday, we have Stanford, who handled Missouri State.
Destroyed them.
Yeah, bless their hearts. Stanford's just too deep for a team like Missouri State. They're way too deep and way too athletic. They will go up against Louisville, who, watch out, world, Dana Evans. She's been struggling the last couple games, but she's back. She caught fire yesterday. I believe she had 29, which ties a career high for her. Yeah, she lit it up in yesterday's matchup. And going into the Stanford game, that's what Louisville needed, because coming into this matchup, I was scared that they weren't going to win yesterday because she just hadn't been playing well. And she's,
Well, she better bring her A game because Stanford finna throw a bunch of athletes out. I don't know what Oregon had. Then they got that kid that was I think she the number 1 shot blocker in the country. Number
yeah,
22.
it's gonna be
I
a
think it was
top
22.
ask for the Cardinals. But
Well,
yeah.
it's 1 versus 2, so they ain't like they supposed to be no struggle if they was a 2 seed.
Oh, no doubt. And they had a chance to
So
be a 1 seed. I actually thought that they might until they lost the ACC championship. I thought they had a good shot to be a number 1 seed. So let's flip it over to the men's. Do you
hold on,
have any?
do they do like the I think the men do this.
Uh,
Like the true number 1 play the worst team in the bracket in the
for
do they do theirs
this
like
year is
that?
the first time that they used the S curve. Yes, when
Okay.
they allegedly this is the first time they went 1 versus 64, 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any other thoughts on the women's tournament before we move over to the men?
Are we talking about clothes yet?
No, we'll get to that in a
Okay.
minute. Let's get to the men's tournament first, and then because the men they dress down as well. So, spoiler for Chantin Rantin coming up. On the men's side, Monday tonight you have Houston and Oregon State. I have Houston moving on in this game. I don't even think I had Oregon State in this matchup. I lost my bracket. I threw my bracket somewhere the other day because it's just been completely busted up. Except for until last night, I had all 4 of my Final Four teams still alive, but we'll get to that in a minute. Baylor and Arkansas should be an absolute gem because Arkansas can flat out score. Baylor has a bunch of humongous athletes, so that should be definitely a good
You
matchup.
better I'll be asleep. Go ahead.
And then on Tuesday night in the men's side, number 1 seed Gonzaga, who seems to be rocking and rolling on all cylinders right now, they play USC. So yeah, I have Gonzaga moving on in that one, and I have Baylor moving on against Arkansas. I didn't say that, but Gonzaga I have moving on in this one. And in the late matchup on Tuesday, Michigan will play the 11th seed UCLA, who has come all the way from the play-in game against Michigan State and made it to the Elite Eight after beating Alabama in overtime last night, where Alabama has so many chances and it just didn't work out for them. But
They're fine. They got enough championships down there in
Nate
football.
Oates has a good thing going, and he even said in his post-game press conference last night that this team was going to be a huge boost for the program, what this team was able to accomplish. So he's got a good thing going there at Alabama, and they'll be back in it. But Michigan, Juwan Howard going up against UCLA, Mick Cronin over at UCLA, used to be at Cincinnati. Yeah, bunch of good matchups on the men's side. Yeah, so far I have Gonzaga, Michigan, Houston still alive for my Final Four picks. So
You didn't pick Baylor.
Gonzaga. No. I'm sorry, I lied. Gonzaga, Baylor. Yeah, Alabama. Michigan is the one I didn't pick. Gonzaga, Baylor, and Houston. And I had Alabama was my 4th pick, but Michigan, UCLA took care of them. So
I think it'll be cool to see Juwan Howard take them to the Final Four. I don't know if they win it or not, but that'll be fun.
it will be absolutely perfect. And this coming from someone who grew up a Tar Heel fan. For Michigan to make it to the championship game, have a shot to win it, and have their best player call a timeout when they don't have any more timeouts left.
Yeah, that wouldn't be.
I'm sorry, I'm just being petty this morning, people.
That
So
would be awful. No.
transitioning to Chantin and Rantin, let's hit the button.
It's chatting and ranting.
Chantin and Rantin, I'm gonna give the floor to my co-host.
Well, I'm not chanting. I'm not ranting either.
I understand.
I just
but
making a statement. Today I will be chanting sometimes. So I have enjoyed seeing everybody in coaches' clothes, like in nice little jogging suits. the coaches be in their uniform. Okay, they got their same little jogging pants on, and they pull over, or they jogging suits or whatever they clothing. And the only team that I saw yesterday, and I didn't watch all the women's games, obviously, but Missouri State coach was the only one that was like dressed up like she was going to church. Because the rest of it, like Don Staley had on like a little pullover with '05. I didn't hear what she said that, because she turned around in her interview and showed the back of the hoodie.
Yeah,
And
my mind is blanking. I actually heard that because they asked her, and
right.
I can't remember. My mind is blanking at this point, but yeah.
So mine's not blinking. I don't have the volume on when I watch games because I don't want to hear the commentators. I just want to watch the game. So yeah, I usually
Shout
had
out to
a
Beth and Debbie who did the game that she's referring to.
I had it on mute. So I don't know who did it. But yeah, I did see her turn around. And I was like, oh, they must have asked her about her attire. But again, I think it's you're a coach. I've always been curious as to why coaches wore suits and like were dressed up in dresses, or slack suits, whatever they for women might wear, and the men in suits. Like, you're coaching a basketball team. Nobody's there to see you. Like, it's appropriate work attire. You don't see people that's going, like, you don't see the dentist come in and say, well, I'm professional, so I gotta wear a suit or a nice. They have on scrubs, or doctors. Like, you don't see construction workers like, oh, this is a professional job. I gotta be. No, they have on stuff that's for their job. So I don't know why coaches would think they need to have on suits.
Yeah,
Or
every coach I've spoken to this year said that they hope that a collective unit gets together and comes up with the idea to keep it like this because they've enjoyed it.
it's a lot to be trying to. What I'm wearing? Oh, we went. All right, y'all. We wearing the blue Nikes, jogging suits we just got in, because they get clothes every other day.
Yeah, they get at least
It,
6 suits a season.
yeah, they have plenty to change up. When you traveling, you ain't got to worry about, oh, did I bring my shoes? Did this blouse? In a wardrobe malfunction, just grab a T-shirt from the manager and put
Right.
it on with a or whatever. But anywho, if you want to put your makeup on and still do all that, you can do that with your with your jogging suit on. Uh, and if you just think you need to dress up for some reason, go for it. But I thought it was a nice look to see the coaches. Because I always liked, even in the Hawaii tournament, what's the Maui?
Hmm.
They normally wear like a polo and they khaki slacks, and I was like, "That's how you should be dressing." I don't know why you on the sideline in a suit, but anyway, that was what I wanted to share about the NCAA. Are we ready for me to share my basketball thoughts too?
Yes. Roll right into your ranting.
So my next change is, so I can't remember what team. I want to say it was, no, it might not have been Dallas. I'm not sure. Somebody said that they thought the 3-point shot gave too much of an advantage, like that 1 point. And I was like, okay, he or she, let me Google it for me, Brian, while I'm saying.
Go ahead.
They said something about 2.5. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. 2.5, we can't get 2.5 points for no shot. My personal beef is, I just feel like people shooting 3-point shots just because it's the new thing. And Brian, if you think about it, the 3-point shot, it really encourages mediocrity. It-
What T is referring to, just to jump in here for a second, she's talking about Daryl Morey. Used to be with Houston. He's now with Philadelphia 76ers. He's the GM. He's the analytics guy, and you'll understand if you understand, numbers and things like that. He was saying that just the field of shooters is too elite, and instead of 3 points, they should make 3 pointers worth 2.5 points, which eh, numbers guy. He's here. The rest of us are down here. So yeah, that's all I got to say about Daryl Morey.
well, but I think that for the most part, it rewards mediocrity because um, well, a 50% shooter is average, but that's excellent for basketball. But if you shoot like 37% in basketball from three, they say you're a good shooter. Right, 37%.
I know.
And for the most part, 40% would be considered like a poor shooting day, just regular shots. But if you shoot that for three, some kind of way, you reward it, and they saying, "Oh, you a good 3-point shooter." And there's only a
Sniper.
handful of guys that shooting 40% from three.
Listen, if you get in the 40% range, you're a sniper.
Right. Where's Curry? Let me see what Curry's shooting. Curry is one of the guys that's 40.8. So he's 41%. But Bill 33, 30%, Giannis. Well, I don't know how he on this list.
I don't know how he that high.
34%. But I mean, again, these 30s and 40s% are not good percentage wise. And you would be like, yeah, stop shooting that for most part. But because you shoot that for three, some kind of way you rewarded as being a good shooter. I think that they should take the three out of the game until the last 2 minutes of the quarter.
Oh,
And then that's when your threes will start counting as threes. Otherwise, just leave the three as a spacer to keep people so people don't just clog like the paint ain't just clogged up because everybody trying to go into the paint. But the last 2 minutes, because and the only reason I would say the last 2 minutes is so that when it's a blowout, there's a chance for you to come back. So if the last 2 minutes are all the quarters, you got 8 minutes that you're gonna be able to get 3 points for these shots. But the rest of the time they're gonna count as two.
that's interesting. I think I actually like that. Yeah.
And it would add something different to the game. The NBA has not evolved. There's no reason to move the 3-point line. I think it'll be stupid to add a 4-point shot, and you don't even really have centers anymore, which makes me sad. Which is one thing I did enjoy about watching the women. Like if they had bigs, they were trying to post up. It wasn't all just spread out, move, and try to shoot threes. But I think it would make the big man be back to in a center, and not most of these bigs ain't shooting the ball that well anyway. I don't know why we want him out there shooting threes. Name me a big, Brian. Let me see what he's shooting.
Joel Embiid.
Joel. Lord, I don't even see. They ain't even got him on the list, Joel. They can't be that bad. In the list that I'm looking at, I put in
Well, what about Jokic? Nikolai Jokic.
Nikolai is shooting. He shooted well, 42.
I figured.
How big is
he? Jokic, he about 7. He probably 6'11", 7
Oh, that's Joker. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Joker.
Vucic, whatever.
Vucevic.
Vucevic. He is shooting at 40%. Let's see what other center they got on here. Bama Badu, Adebayo is 28%. He probably shouldn't even be shooting them at all. For some reason, Joel is not on this 3-point percentage list.
I thought he might be. I didn't know what his percentage would be. I know he takes a decent amount per game.
Let's see, Julius Randle shooting 42%, but he haven't shot a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that'll be a good addition since they won't raise the goal, which is what I've been lobbying for. I still want that to happen, but because if they do raise the goal, then the 3-point shooting I think is gonna go down.
I agree.
So since y'all won't raise the goal, who is the Adam Silver? Who is it?
Adam Silver.
Adam. Look here. Let's go ahead and put this on board for the who is the player association? Don't they have to agree on it, and the coaches, or who have to agree on that
Yeah,
when the rule
it's
change?
the league and the player association.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and put that on the table. The last 2 minutes, twos turn to threes each quarter. That give you 8 minutes of 3-point shooting. And even if you want to make it last 2 minutes in overtime, but other than that, every shot is 2 points.
Hmm. I like this. I think this. Well, speaking of new things, what happened to? Wasn't they supposed to play some kind of tournament? Uh, wasn't that supposed to go into effect this year?
Well, they got a play-in tournament this year. So if you not the if you 7 to 8, I think
Oh, they doing it for the
you
playoffs.
playing.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You got to play in to get in the playoffs. The top 6 teams in, and I guess the 7, 8, 9, and 10 play to get in,
Oh, they
or
they
7,
basically
8 play to get in.
they basically
Whoever,
just doing whatever they did in the bubble.
right?
Mm,
Which is not necessary.
mm.
But I guess they just trying to come up with games. Just take the top 8 like you've been doing, and but yeah, I think people would go for my change. I don't know. Some people will be crying, but you still get your threes. You still have a chance to make comebacks.
You
If
can
you
reach out to us with your thoughts on this at BMac, letter N, T show at gmail.com or the Mac T show at on Twitter and Instagram. So reach out and tell T how much you hate her idea. And
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. It came to me. It was all a dream.
oh my goodness. Well, um, I
Silver arm. Well, it ain't silver arm no more. I'm really disappointed because I can't call it silver arm no more. But
it's more like black
it's
gold.
black and gold now. He don't moved on up to the east side when he went to Wakanda. Woo! Go ahead.
Wakanda is a fictional place.
Not for everybody.
Oh, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2, the Star Spangled Man.
I don't like it. I don't like him. Go ahead.
We get to learn more about the new Captain America, John Walker, his hometown hero, star athlete, served in the military. And at the beginning of the episode, you really kind of get the vibe that he seemingly wants to do a good job. He's got a sidekick, Lamar Hoskins, aka Battlestar, which is a callback to the comics where John Walker had a group of African American commandos by his side when he would fight battles, and Hoskins was one of them who went by the name Battlestar. Um, my first chef's kiss for this season has to go to the HBCU version of Star Spangled Man with a Plan.
Ah, go.
Yeah, they kicked
Did
off.
we find out who did it? What school?
I
Or
did
did they?
not. I did
Let
not.
me Google that. 'Cause I should have Googled that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
check that out
Yes.
while. So yeah, they had the little party and the Good Morning America interview with the new cap. Yeah, and the Star Spangled Man with a Plan. If you don't know that song, that was from the first Captain America movie where Steve was out there battling fake Hitler.
Trying to get
Yeah,
bond money for them for the war.
when he was on them tours with trying to get money for the military.
Just a mess.
Bucky and Steve reunite and they go looking for the Flag Smashers, which I don't think. Yeah, they did know at that time that was what they were calling themselves.
Yeah, that kid that told him.
That's right. Yeah, they do battle and realize the majority of the Flag Smashers are enhanced, possibly super soldiers. They were even joined in battle at some point by New Cap and Battlestar, who were able to track them because of Sam's Red Wing. They put a tracker in Red Wing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the young
That's why
lady,
you don't fool with the government. Go ahead.
the young lady, that's part of the Flag Smasher group. Her name is Carly Morgenthau. In the comics, Flag Smasher is one single person, and his name is Carl Morgenthau. So this could be either just a nice Easter egg by calling this girl Carly, just adding the I to Carl, or it could mean that she could possibly be the leader of this group, because she does seem to be the only one that gets a text message from someone who we have not met yet. But
She
the
seemed
text,
like she run things to me,
yeah,
but
and the text basically told her that he knows this person knows that they stole stuff from her, which they stole medical supplies is what they stole, and he's coming and he's basically gonna kill her. So yeah, we're gonna find out who that is. I'm assuming in a few episodes.
well, they better
Bucky,
hurry up. We ain't got but 4 left.
Bucky is upset with Sam over the fact that he gave up the shield.
I am too, Bucky. Go
Well,
ahead.
in the, as they had their back and forth over it, but Bucky takes Sam to meet Isaiah Bradley, who we learn is an African American super soldier that was put into combat by the U.S. government after Steve Rogers went into the ice. Bucky knew about him because part of Isaiah's job, basically the majority of his job, I'm assuming, was to hunt down Bucky when he was brainwashed by Hydra. And this is the in the comics. This is basically the same kind of storyline, and it's based off of real life events that happened with the Tuskegee experiments, where they basically gave syphilis to 600 African American.
Well, they didn't give it to them. They didn't treat them, and they told them they would. And I think a lot of people been saying that, but I read the book Medical Apartheid, and she explained all that. A lot of men had it, and they told them we're going to treat you, but they just let them see how the disease progressed, and that's how they know. Oh, at this stage, because it's stages to syphilis. That's how at this stage this might happen. This might happen. You might go crazy on the last stage and all that. So they didn't give it to them. They just lied to them and told them that they were going to treat them and get them, but they weren't treating them. They were just watching them die or
Yeah, they
get
were
ill.
basically using them. They would treat maybe like 3 or 4 of them, and then
Right, because they
uh,
had a way to treat them so that they could get better, but they didn't. Then that's the problem with it, that they could have ethically first do no harm, like they shouldn't have been doing that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Go ahead.
right, okay. In the comics, Isaiah was part of a group of African American. Okay, yeah, I already said that. And he was basically experimented on by using the super soldier serum.
This super soldier still didn't work, y'all. Cause if you see him, y'all
It's
saw him.
it's
He
not,
looked like a
and
1,000 years old.
this is why that the serum that was given to Steve Rogers was like the perfect blend, and this is where like the government
Bucky's
tried to
too, cause
recreate.
Bucky 100. He still like Bucky. This man, they gave him the bad serum.
Yeah, the trying to recreate the recreation caused so many problems. I mean, in the comics, the, and obviously this is probably what's going to happen in the MCU as well. He was thrown. Isaiah was thrown in jail. He was erased from history. While in jail, he had like a mental breakdown in solitary confinement, and where he just kind of lost his mind. Um, and I think that's kind of where we're heading. Isaiah's grandson is seen in this scene. His name in the comics and actually in the show too, if you see the post credits, is Eli Bradley. Eli in the comics becomes Patriot, and he's part of the Young Avengers. And right now we're building that group because we have Wanda's twins. We've seen them on screen. Miss Marvel is coming. Uh, we have Ant-Man's daughter. We've seen her on screen. We know she's there. We're building that Young Avengers group, so Eli could be an Easter egg to what's to come for him. Episode ends with Sam and Bucky heading to talk to Baron Zemo, who is still in prison from his role in the what happened in the Civil War movie.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they want to know more about how these super soldiers are being made, and Zemo may have knowledge of that because if you remember in Captain America: Civil War, he knew where those super soldiers that they had made along with Bucky. Well, he knew where they were
That
being
facility
frozen and hidden.
was.
So
Mm-hmm.
He may know a little bit more than he's letting on, and
If you think he telling, I don't know what they went down that far, but go ahead.
I know in the comics many times they have to they quote unquote work with Zemo to get certain things done. So that it'll be, and he always winds up, being Zemo at the end and kind of turning on him. So I'm thinking that's
Well,
what it is.
let me tell you. This is what I am ranting and chanting right now.
Go
I
ahead.
don't like Captain America. I don't like the way he look.
Let's just call him U.S. agent, because I think that's where he eventually is gonna go.
Well,
'Cause I don't want
whatever
to call him
he
Cap.
acting like he Captain America, the broke fake Captain America. First, they tried to sell us that he was a good guy, humble.
Right.
Oh, I don't know if I can do this. It's too much. I want to do it right. And now, when we meet him in this one, he's super arrogant. Oh, I saved y'all. And I was like, okay, y'all keep saying he's just a regular person, because he even say, oh, he just. But how is he fighting them? The people with the superhero powers and that. What's the name of the star?
The Flag
The
Smashers.
Flag Smashers. How
I,
he fighting them
if
like
you
he?
remember, and we didn't talk about this, but there was a scene where he and Battlestar in that back of that truck, and they try to get Bucky and Sam to take a ride with them.
Mm-hmm.
Or when they're all at four in there at one point, they talk about the Flag Smashers being possible super soldiers. Well, Battlestar kind of looked surprised, like, "Oh, super soldiers, you say?" I think him and Battlestar, they've been injected with some kind of serum, and we just
Yeah,
don't know
cause
it yet.
I was like, okay, first of all, you throwing this little this the shield way too. A regular human can't throw this shield like this. I don't care what y'all try to tell me.
And he ain't had that much
Right.
time to practice.
You
So
ain't had that much practice with that and its weight. And again, you were fighting them way too well on top of moving 18 wheels was a cute little fight scene. It was kind of cute.
mhm.
Um, but he's so arrogant, and I was like, okay, I know y'all probably doing this intentionally and like making him arrogant while the real Captain America was humble and he was arrogant in his own right as morally what was right and he always knew and anything else. But this guy, I don't care for him his character at all. And I wish they had picked another person, but that's another story for another time. The kid Aaron Kellerman that's looked like she the leader of the
Flag Smashers. Mhm.
I kept saying I've seen her before. She was in Solo. I don't know if you've seen Solo story.
Yes, I did the same thing. Went and looked her up, and I didn't realize that was her until
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, I remember that face. Okay, got it. Um, it should be interesting where they go because
They only have
we
four
know we
more
saw in the
episodes.
trailer that Anthony Mackie's character, what's his name?
Sam Wilson. Mhm.
Sam out there, he had the shield at some point throwing it against trees and stuff practicing. So they get it back at some point.
I think they're gonna go steal it because Bucky said, "Let's just go take the shield back." He
Well, they're
said
gonna
it
have
in
to
this.
go beat up the fake Captain America for it, I guess. And do we need a black cat sidekick just like the other Captain America? I was like, this is too much. Is that
Mhm.
like a cartoon thing, or
I
is this
don't
just
know.
something?
I know in the comics he has his commandos that are all black. That
Okay,
John Walker has his group. Basically,
so
they do the work for him because
oh,
yeah.
so maybe that's they trying to keep in line. I was like, this is too much
I
of a
think that
coincidence, y'all.
a lot of this series is going to evolve around race, and I think we're setting that up.
Yeah,
And
because Brian didn't talk about it, but Sam and Silver Black and Gold Arm are out fighting. They mad at each other, and the police roll up and they start being aggressive with Sam and kind of act like they don't even see the white guy was a part of the fight.
and this is what's crazy about it. They question him wanting to see his ID. Bucky's trying to tell him just comply. Just give me your ID. Just whatever Just there's no need. No need for all that. All of a sudden, Bucky tells him, "Y'all not know who he is."
Right.
And they realize he's Falcon, and they kind of calm down and move on about it. And who gets arrested? Bucky,
Bucky,
because
because you didn't make your appointment.
the white guy gets arrested.
You didn't make your appointment, Bucky. It's a
Oh
warrant
my,
out. You didn't go to your therapist.
that's hilarious. But yeah, I think race is going to play a big part, which is kind of cool that they're doing this, especially now in today's climate.
Right.
So I think that's going to be pretty cool. I think everything that the NCU has done to this point, can be said that it's been decent. So I think they'll
Well,
handle it well.
this the first one was so boring, Brian. I was like, this is awful. Honestly, I was just bored so much. I think it wasn't awful,
Yeah,
but
I think that they
it was
could have
just
found a way to speed up the first one to get Sam and Bucky together because I
yeah,
understand what they were trying to do, showing where they both
the
were at this point.
backstories.
But
Hmm.
yeah, they could have sped that up a little bit.
Yeah, that they could got to that point a little faster, and then
Because every trailer we've seen leading up to this, they were already together. So
right,
we knew they're gonna get together. Just put them together.
and so now y'all don't wasted a whole one.
They could have just done like some quick flashbacks for all that.
And yeah, oh, he could have a conversation. I tried to get along with my sister, but
Yeah,
I couldn't because I've been
yeah.
missing for 5 years and I ain't got no income. Cause we all been wondering how y'all been living life and got houses and
And
all,
you
but no
literally
income.
could have just had a flashback of the guy say, "Oh no, we can't give you a loan," blah blah, and him trying to take a selfie with Sam and all that.
So I hope three got to get better because we don't. They going to talk to the
Zemo, yes,
the dude,
we gon'
and they don't like Captain America already either, and not just because he's not Captain America. I think a part of it is how arrogant he is.
and they know that Steve wasn't necessarily. He was like you said, he was arrogant and just believing that his way was the only way. His mindset was the only mindset that was,
This
uh,
guy is the arrogant and
uh,
kind of a rich boy,
uh
kind
spoiled
of
rotten,
yeah.
been
You
coddled.
just like, and I think it would have been fine, but they tried to lead you to believe at the first one that he wasn't like that. He was all humble, like, oh, I don't know if I can do it, and
Right.
I've been, and now you all arrogant about it. We saved y'all, and okay,
All right, give us some sayings that
yeah, Brian, who been out here beating on dead horses?
we talked
Who is
about
this
this.
person?
We talked about this the other day. That's
We talked
hilarious.
about dead horses on air.
No, me and
Oh,
you talked about it off air. Yeah,
Brian, who been doing it?
I don't know.
Um, what is this? And I don't know if you've heard this, but I heard somebody say that rabbit dead. I mean, died. Huh? The rabbit died. Oh,
Yeah, and,
okay, okay. Fit to be tied. I'm not really sure, Brian.
because if it fit, what it need to be tied for?
I'm fit to be tied. I can't. I can't. It's clear as mud.
No.
So do you mean you don't understand and I need to explain this to you?
Yeah, cause it
Cause
ain't it ain't
this
clear.
is this is just clear as mud. Oh, okay. I I mean, I don't know why you be saying somebody was dumb as a brick, but
Cause how smart can a brick be? I mean,
we at least get the analogy in the same like that's not an inanimate object.
right.
Dumb as a lamb, don't they say that lambs just kind of sheep, not lamb, sheep. Sheep just go to the slaughter like or something. I'm not. Brian, where did you choke come from?
What?
Like somebody choked, like they missed the free
Oh yeah.
throw.
I don't know.
Cause choking, like the actual act of choking, like I don't see how that matches up with the you choked and missed.
Yeah, and Reggie Miller made that mess famous. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that translates to sports because choking is the actual act of it is. I mean, you basically on your deathbed.
But you can't really control it.
Mm-mm.
And
It's
maybe
happening.
they when I mean you do have some control when you miss a free throw, like you either were seriously scared and you just were scared and messed up. But we say you choke, but I'm just like, why would who decided you choke was gonna be the analogy? What about it's like a piece of cake.
Oh yeah, piece of cake. I've heard I've actually said that
But
growing and yeah, never thought
what does
about it.
that mean? What is it? We know what it means when you say it, but then you just think about it, you be like, oh, that's like a piece of cake.
Because
If any of y'all
honestly,
try to make some cakes, it ain't easy to make no cake.
it's
Now, it
not
might be
easy
a
to make it,
box cake.
and I've always struggled to cut it. I can't ever slice it just right. I've always had problems slicing, and I might be alone in that, but it is what it is.
And the
I was just
last
thinking,
one for today, Brian, you washed up. And y'all know I used washed up recently.
yes,
Washed up, Brian, is probably a good thing if you go get washed up and not out here dirty and funky or whatever. But how is that related to you can't play no more? Like
you
it's
would
over.
think that it would be more like
You just ain't got it no more. I don't know. I don't know.
like
Washed up came
I was
from
trying to think like dust, something that is beaten down and is worn.
like the dead horse.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of something else because you're telling them that they're worn down, they're not as good. So washed up, man, washed up, you clean and new.
Right,
So
you are better than you were before, unless you're not washing up right. But I don't know. We gotta be mindful of and I know people if they think about it when they say stuff. Cause I said when I told Brian, I said one yesterday with my sibling. I can't even remember what it was, and we both concluded like we don't know where we got it from, but people say it all the time.
well, you said dumb as a brick. I've always heard people say dumb as dirt.
Either way, dirt.
I mean, what?
Nobody's
Why?
doing intellect checks on dirts or brick
Hilarious.
or talking horses from a horse's mouth. I think we talked about that one.
Well,
What horse y'all been talking to?
if
We
any
need
of
to get you
you
in a mental facility if that's a thing for you.
listeners, if you have any sayings that just don't make sense, please hit us up at the Mac T Show on Instagram and Twitter, and the
I just
Mac
thought of one more too, Brian. Go
letter
ahead. I'm
N T
sorry.
Show at gmail.com. Yes.
You crazy as he double hockey sticks.
Oh, yes.
What kind of crazy is that? Like what?
I say that all the time.
But I'm just saying, what relationship do those two things have to each other? And maybe people saying that they don't believe in Hades, so they say you crazy as that because it's not believable for the person, and
Right.
so that's the best I can come up with. But
Yeah,
I ain't no
that's the
cursing
best
woman. But
explanation I can give for it.
well,
uh,
I'm looking forward to seeing um Black and Gold on with Sam out here. Um, I I heard that Equalizer came back on,
oh, good. Good. That makes
so
me
I
happy.
try to check out Queen Latifah, see what she out here doing, cause she gonna mess around and ain't nobody gonna be watching it, cause they gonna think it went off. It's been like a month.
It really has. The NCAA, they picked a bad time to put it out with the NCAA tournament coming up. Um,
Well,
for Mighty
she
Duck
come on
fans,
Sundays though. Well, most of them games were because my mom said this one was late because the game
or
was on.
anybody that was a Mighty Duck fan growing up, Disney Plus has the Game Changer. Mighty Duck is the reboot of the Mighty Ducks called Game Changer. Gordon Bombay does make yeah, he does have a part in it. He's basically like a old, obviously he's playing himself, just an older version.
And
So
I just like to report that I'm finna is now a word finna.
Finna, yeah, Finna. Finna.
I don't know how they decided how to spell it. Just throw it in there and fentanyl.
Yeah.
All this because you hear different people say it a different way depending on what part of the country you in. I'm a finna person.
You know what that means? that means that this world is crazy as hell.
Why is it crazy, Brian? It's in our, we use it. And I was using it not like right before the virus. And I was like, I'm finna go down here and do whatever. And I was like, and I know finna not a word. And now I don't even have to say that anymore.
It's lazy. It's lazy. Just say fix it too.
It's not lazy. Most of our language is lazy, and that's why we don't sound like the Queen's English, because it's broken.
Right. Yes. Well, that's going to put a wrap on us today. As always, I am one of your hosts, Brian Mackay, and I am with...
I'm finna go back to work, Davis.
T crazy as hell. This has been the Mackay T Show podcast. Thank you for listening.
This is the Mackay T Show. This is the Mackay T Show. We talk movies and TV shows, sports and world news, coasting like on a world cruise. Hosted by Brian Mackay and T Davis. Yeah. You can't tame us. We're going to the top, we're becoming famous.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mackay T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mackay T Show.